pretending to be wealthy will never feel like actually being wealthy, right? Or pretending to be in love will never feel like actually being in love. But pretending to believe in God will never feel like believing in God. And so we have to break out of this pretending, like these handcuffs we put on ourselves. We've handcuffed ourselves to this idea that we have to fake it till we make it. And I think it's doing more harm than good in this environment.
Welcome to the What's Your Revolution show, a show for men and the people who love them, where we discuss how men can find and embrace the revolution within themselves, where people can find and embrace the revolution within themselves. You know who I am. I'm your host, Dr. Charles Corprew. What's good, revolutionaries? As I say all the time, I hope you're well and that you're not finding your community. You're sitting in this, but because by the time over the years that I have been saying, I hope you find your community, look, you need to be sitting inside of your communities and helping those folks who are with you thrive and pour into them, because that's what community is. It is finding people that you can pour into and that also pour back into you. Community is finding joy and peace and laughter and play and thought. That's the other aspect of community, is that can you find people who will move your thought process to the edge? Too often, we sit with communities that don't challenge our thought. They don't say, hey, Charles, or hey, Reggie, when you get to meet my guest today, is that really the thinking that you should have? Or is that, tell me or really explain to me why you're thinking. And this is how I think. And can we have discourse, not discord, when we have opposing thoughts? That's what community is. And I'm blessed. I am very, very blessed to have community in a variety of fields and a variety of things. And so shout out to all those folks that pour into me and that I pour into as well. I'm fortunate, as I say, this is an ordinary show, because when I say ordinary revolutionaries, that means I got a dope ass guest coming on. And let me tell you, I'm back home in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Virginia. And, oftentimes you don't know who you're going to meet. It's not Chicago, it's not DC, it's not Philly, it's not LA. But we still have some dope ass black men doing dope ass shit here in Norfolk, Virginia. And I met this brother, Reggie Prevail, when I was at Gather. Gather is this co-working spot, and particularly during COVID. And ironically, during COVID, you would think that a co-working spot wouldn't be the place that you're going to meet some of the most prolific people. But it was, because people needed a place to go. They didn't want to be stuck in their homes. They wanted a place to go. And all of a sudden, now you got this litany of people together talking about a variety of things. And I met my guest today, Reggie Prevail, author, founder, investor, thought leader. Just as you know, when two brothers see each other in a space, like, wait a minute, there ain't that many of us. Who are you? Who are you? And so we just started talking, and we've been developing a relationship, man. And he has been advising and building companies. Look, he looks like he's like 25, but you know what I'm saying? especially with the Jay-Z mogul wig he got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? But this brother is doing his thing. So look, author, that's what I'm putting, author of How to Lose. And we're going to talk about that today. My man, my friend, my dear brother, Reggie Prevail. How are you?
I'm feeling good, brother. Thank you. That was a hell of an intro, man. You really, hey, I'm telling you, man, I was ready to box. I don't know if it's a boxing match or what. I'm fired up, man. I'm ready to do something. And so,
man,
thank you for that. Honestly,
I love that.
Thank you for that.
No,
yeah.
thank
I'm
you.
30, by the way. So,
man, you're 25. Good gracious. 30. I
Yeah.
was like, look, he looks like 25, 5 years, 30.
You close.
Yo, my God. Reggie, let me tell you something, man. You say that, and let me give you your flowers now. And because when I was 30, I wasn't you. And I say that, and I say that it affects, I wasn't you. Like, I wasn't thinking like you. I wasn't building like you. You know, I wasn't writing my first book. I'm 55 and writing my first book now. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful.
You have built, you know, and scaled and have become a thought leader at 30. That's amazing. Because I'm talking to my line, but when we were 30, we were just trying to still figure it out. Look, I probably had $25, maybe $5,000 in the bank, maybe at 30.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish, you know, you can't go back in time, but I wish that I knew what you knew, plus what I know at 30, and then move into the space that I'm in now at 55. Wow. What would that be?
We met when I was probably 25.
Yeah.
Or 26 or something like that. But I can't have it. Everything I've done is built on the back of brothers like you that have poured into younger guys like me at some point. So it's really by design. I believe this generation, we're supposed to be able to move faster. The technology is faster. The information is a lot of rooms that you had to be in to get some of the information I've been blessed to receive by, you know, just paying attention to certain books. People aren't hiding books like they were, you know, back in the day. They can't hide them anymore. And then also like my ability to network, right? My ability to build clientele internationally and nationally from the comfort of the 757. That wasn't an option in the 80s and the 90s, right?
That's true.
And so
You had to get on
I'm
a plane.
supposed to do this, brother. And thank you. And every brother like you that's poured into young brothers like me. Because that's the reason that, you know, I tell people all the time, I'm special, but I'm not that damn special. Like I'm special, but I'm not that special. Like it's really just effort. You know, faith without works is dead, and it's really just faith and work together, compounded over time is whatever, you know, you see me as. And so I'm glad you see me the way I see myself. I try to just do my best. That's it. And this is the result of that. You know, and a lot of losing.
a lot of losing. And we are definitely going to dive into that. Reggie, one, thank you. You know, I appreciate that. And what I'm realizing that at this juncture of my life, it's my job. It is my responsibility. It is my ancestral responsibility to pour back.
Yes.
And, you know, there's a young brother named Tay who comes into assembly where I work now in Norfolk, Virginia. And
beautiful spot, by the way.
Yeah, it is a beautiful, you know, the founder has just found, you know, a space where people just want to be and they can coalesce together. It doesn't matter. It's a very diverse place.
Sure.
But you know, Tay walked in one day in assembly and saw me, right? And it's not many brothers in assembly. And we spoke of a conversation and he was like, look, can I get some of your time? And, you know, both of us are busy. And I was like, look, brother, yes, you can get someone. I have an extremely busy schedule. Let's figure it out. So it took a couple months for us to get together. But what I realized in the conversation to him was, you got so much to give. You've lived, Charles. Like you have lived. And it's my job and my duty and my delight to then give my experience back to folks like yourself. Now he's 21, 22 years, budding entrepreneur, does videography and photography, all the things. But he had so many questions like, how did you get here? How did you overcome this barrier? What are you reading? What was the most, like, how did you lose? You know, where did you lose? What did you learn from the loss? All of the things. And then probably about a week later, I was mentoring this young man from ODU. Same questions. Reggie. And I could be jealous of Reggie Prevail at 30 because I wasn't there. But as you said, this version of me is so happy to give back, to make the road a little bit easier because there were folks who poured into me when I was your age.
Mm-hmm.
But my access to information, to really internalize it, to go and blow it up wasn't there like you. So yes, you should be where you are at 30.
1000%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what is going to happen is that you can then in turn keep lifting as you climb, because now the brother at 20 can be you where you are at 30.
Absolutely. That's it right there. You poured into this young brother Tay because somebody poured into you.
Yeah.
Right? My first nonprofit was 10 years ago. I started, let me see, Option 2 in 2016.
Wow.
Well, August. So 9 years and change. But it was a nonprofit. So I'm 20. I'm 30 now. I was 20 at that time, right?
Wow.
Based on the world standards, right? I'm in no. Why am I starting a nonprofit to teach young adults when I'm a young adult myself?
Yeah.
But really, you know, I realized that we have to stop waiting for the world to validate us.
Mm.
I'm not, like I kept saying, that's the reason I released the book. Listen, do I have all the answers? No. And I put in the beginning of the book, I'm not above my own advice. These are things that I'm learning as well. Right. But at the same time, I want to share it with you because I can see how it's transforming my life by me learning how to lose certain aspects of my ego, lose certain attachments I have to perfectionism, losing the solo mentality, right? Even the fake it till you make it thing, right?
Yeah.
Losing some of that because it's helping me. It's transforming my life. And over the last 10 years, I've learned this. So I'm not going to wait until I'm 65 and they say, hey, by the way, you're a thought leader now. Like now you're a thought leader because you spent 50 years working. No, right now. I don't need it. I self-published. I don't need anybody to validate me. I'm gonna validate myself, release my thoughts because tomorrow isn't promised. So what happens if I wait and I don't make it, right? And so my point is, you're absolutely right. That's the reason I released the book. That's the reason I started the nonprofit 10 years ago, Option 2. It was all about taking the information I have now. I don't want to wait and give it. I'm gonna give it right now. And so if it can help someone, then good, right? And I believe by operating that way, I will create more leaders who will also pour into the next generation and into each other because we're all still learning. We're a tribe.
We are a tribe. You're right. We're all still learning. Reggie, let's just dive in. Like let's not bury the lead. You wrote this book. Like you keep talking how to lose. And it feels like a contrarian effort. And I say that because every day we're seeing books and articles and people pontificating on social media, as we talked about in the green room, on how to win. You do this and you win, right? You do this and you win, right? But you're saying how to lose. Why that? Like you talked about it, but why that? Not how to win from a black male perspective, how to lose. What was the thesis for this?
Well, so I say this, these 3 words, win or win. Like that's my mantra, right?
Win or win. Okay.
Win or win, right? And it's different from win-win. Win-win means like you're just the A side, right? So it's a win-win for you. Win or win means regardless of the outcome, I will make it a win for me. I will, like, if there's a loss, I will take the learnings from that, right? And I will win again from this loss. So it makes it a win, right? And it's just about being optimistic and having faith, right? And knowing that God has his hand in your situation. And so whatever is going on, you have to trust and believe that it's just a part of the story. And so you will win from this if you want to and if you really believe it.
Right.
And so when I started to write a book, I said, you know what? I should flip the script because everyone's talking about winning.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody wants to win, but nobody really wants to do all the necessary steps, right? They see the finished product oftentimes. Someone will look at Dr. Corporal and say, how did you get here?
How did you get there?
How did you get here? But if you tell them all the things it really took to get here, it's like, I don't know if you want to be me, brother. You know what I'm saying? I think we all have our own story. We have our own experiences. And I just believe that at a time where everyone's talking about winning, including myself,
Yeah.
that we need to do a better job at talking about losing, because you're going to lose more than you win in this life,
Man.
right? You're going to
Yes.
go through, you're going to, and but people see the highlights. People see the Lamborghini or the whatever, the Audi or whatever. Like they see the AP or the Cartier watch or the whatever it is that people, believe is success. They see that. They see the PhD. They see the business ownership. They see you know, leading at 757 Angels, right? And they're like, man, how? How did he get here? And there's so many things that, it was wins that got you here, but it was like a lot of losses, a lot of
A lot of
lessons
them.
in between that. And so that was the inspiration for the book, but not just the tangible losses. It's not like how to lose a family member or how to lose a car or how to lose a job. It's how to lose the intangible things like that ego, right?
Yes.
How to look, because ego will keep you out of a lot of rooms. A lot of people have a no asshole rule, right? A lot of people, and we don't realize this until it's too late, and we think that showing up a certain way and showing up braggadocious is what people are attracted to, but that's not what they're attracted to. And the higher I climb, the more I realize that. And so I look at ego in two different ways. I think ego can be a good thing. It can be a win, right? Win or win, right?
Well, I want to say humble. There's a positive ego. There's
That's a
confidence
positive.
that you feel about yourself.
There you go. And so I put in the book, I talk about two types of ego. You have the ego that says, I'm so good. I'm so great. I'm so great that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Right? That's one ego. That's a bad ego. You have the good ego, whereas I'm good, I'm great. I'm so great that I want to share my greatness with
That's right.
others.
Right.
And so I fight. It's a tough fight.
Yeah.
It's a tough fight.
Particularly
That's
as
why I
a
said I'm
black
not above my
man.
own advice.
Yeah. Particularly as a black man. Let me just start. I just want to say, because this, at least for me, this balance that I have to wrestle with, walking into rooms sometimes where I need to let you know that Dr. Corporeal and all the things for me that it is in the room, because yeah. So there's sometimes, but I have to remind myself, hey, that's ego. That's the story that you've told yourself.
Sure.
And there are other times, like you said, you walk into the room and yes, hey, there's Charles. How you doing? Hey, everybody. How can I serve you? So I balance that, sometimes.
Absolutely.
And this side over here is just like, yo, you need to buck up a little bit. Show, beat on your chest like Dr. Corpor's in the room,
Right.
And so you're right. There is
sometimes people bring it out of you, don't they?
Yeah. Like, wait, hold on. You just, I need to flip that 1 second. Let me tell you something, just so you can get back to the story. My father was really, really good at balancing that. Because he could walk into the room and be the most affable man. There's Candy. Because my father's nickname was Candy. You know what I'm saying? He always had a piece of candy. Always had 29. Always had a piece of candy. Here, some peppermint. But if you cross that line, my dad was a lion. Like a lion. And all of a sudden it was like, oh shit. What did you say? Oh, I'm gonna just sit back and watch this. Because now you have awakened the lion in my father. And and as a child, I was like, whew, Dad. But as an adult, I was like, yeah, Dad, I see that.
You understand.
You understand it. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you up, but I would just
that's good. That's a good piece. I learned a lot from my father as well. And I think he helped me when I was young build that self-confidence. Of just, look, people might not love you, all the time, but regardless, right? You have to love yourself, and you have to have that ego and that you have to use. Sometimes that's all you have, and so I built upon that, and I've learned how to balance it out a little bit more. Just because the certain rooms, like you said, certain rooms you go into, If you're gonna play the game, right, you have to know where you are, and you have to know when to play offense and when to play defense.
When the
Every day is not an offensive day.
right,
It's
right,
just not.
right, right,
It's
exactly.
just not. It's just not.
Right. No, sometimes you look, sometimes you gotta dig the fingers into the ground and play defense. You know what I'm saying?
1000%.
And play defense. Uh, one of the things that, as you were saying, that made me think about, and I'm sure that you've read this book called The 48 Laws of Power.
Oh yeah, it's on my shelf.
Yeah,
Yep.
look with all look, and I love how the color coordination of the books.
Yeah,
It's funny.
that's my mom. My
I
mom
tried
did
to
that.
do the
My
same
mom
thing.
came to my house and she color coordinated the books for sure. I love
Yeah,
it.
it looks good. No,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
definitely looks good. But in this, the 40, Robert Greene talks of, is that to be powerful, you have to really understand your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was in grad school, my graduate advisor, Dr. Michael Cunningham, I love him to death. And when I got to school, I had a big ego. I was like, I'm 34 years old. I know, look, all my classmates are in their 20s. I know this. That man put me in my place. That man put me in my place. I want to tell you, probably the first 2.5 years, man, I was like, oh, this is a haze. This is a straight haze. There was times I would be like, man, what is this? But I
Mm-hmm.
read the 48 Laws of Power.
Mm-hmm. And you was breaking law number one.
And that's what, bruh,
Never
that's
outshine
exactly.
the master.
Yeah, exactly. Man, see, I knew you would know. I knew you would know. You're right. And that was the thing. Never outshine the master. And I was
Mm-hmm.
outshining the master.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
once
yeah.
I read that first law, it became about him. And it became about me supporting him. Because I was like, man, this man is lauded across the country for the research that he's done. This man is Dr. Michael Cunningham. You're nobody. You are at the time, you are Mr. Charles Corprew. Former baseball coach and teacher. That's who you are. So you walking into the room with this big ego, like you've done something. And when he walks into the room, it's like, oh, here's the distinguished professor of this and and once I quieted my ego and supported him, he became my biggest advocate. My big and put me in rooms and put me on papers and all the things. And when I left, I was like, wow.
Game changer.
Game changer. Like literally game changer. I had to lose. I had to lose, man. You don't know how powerful a revolution that you are creating inside of me right now by this, how to lose. And as we talked about, you're going to have to lose money to gain
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
We talked
1000%.
about it. Yeah, we talked about this as I continue to scale and grow What's Your Revolution. I'm going to then have to start paying because I've been losing time.
Yes.
And so losing time has shown me that I'm not as productive. It is an education, as you talked about. I'm losing time. And as I get older, I want to look, this time gets exponentially faster.
Yes. And it might be like some perfectionism mindset. You might feel like, look, no one's going to do this like me.
Yes.
And that was something I had to get over as well. Like early, that's something I learned early. When I initially started investing in businesses. So when you talk about, replicating yourself and systems building, like that is the type of growth consulting I was doing in order to like build wealth initially. Like I was just doing sales initially, sales and business development. And then eventually that turned into system development, right? And consulting and helping people build sales systems.
Yeah.
And eventually that turned into investing, right? Because I'm like, wait, I can apply these sales skills and the system building to small businesses, add a little marketing, And now, and a little bit of capital, right? And now I could
Yes.
probably invest in some businesses.
Right.
And so that's around the time we met. That was I
That's
was
what
in
you were
that
doing.
grind.
That's
I
right.
was
I'm
I was in that
and
grind
I'm
of
listening to you. I'm like, "Ooh, this brother's smart.
Thank you, brother.
Ooh, this brother's smart."
Man, I'm just and I'll be honest with you, man. During that time, I joined Gather um pre-COVID, right? I was a member of Gather Norfolk first
Okay. Right.
initially in 2018,
Yeah.
17,
Mhm.
18, right before COVID. And to be honest with you, I didn't have the money to pay that monthly membership,
Wow.
but I made it happen because uh I just felt that I needed to be in a different type of environment,
Yeah.
and I wasn't getting that environment at school or
Mhm.
at work. I was working part-time at Apple. I had quit Apple. And I started to do like online consulting and running my nonprofit and all that stuff. And long story short, even the story about how I quit Apple, I told you about Black Enterprise
Yeah.
Magazine and all that stuff. So we can get into that later on.
Yeah.
Um, but my point is, Gather, that was a transformational uh place for me. Like, because it was my first opportunity to be around and network with other business owners that were way worse. And look, and everybody was making more money than me. Everybody was actually running a business. I'm in there just on Upwork and, just like I'm on LinkedIn. I'm just trying to find something to do. I'm just trying to find something to do. And long story short, I closed my largest contract I closed in Gather. And my first business that I acquired or that I invested in happened right in Gather. And so
Yeah.
the trickle ball effect. So by the time I met you in Virginia Beach, I was on like my fourth investment, my fourth business I was adding to the portfolio. And so we went and grabbed a quad. Me and my partner at the time, we grabbed a quad, and we had 4 offices all by each other for
Really?
each business. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right? When you go into Gather Virginia Beach and you go through the back, you make that
Yeah.
right. Those 4 offices used to be our offices, and it didn't go as planned, of course. But those were some that changed the trajectory, or the trajectory, I'm sorry, of my life and of my business experience. It helped me, and then meeting guys like you, right, and just you know uh, tapping in and starting to meet people that were just pouring little seeds, even just your
Mm.
positive energy. Some days I'm in the deep of my grind. I come in there and I see you smiling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what this dude smiling about, man? I'm gonna go get some of this dude energy, man. This dude
Love it. Look,
always
happy
smiling.
to see other brothers. And look, it's interesting, as you tell this story, Reggie, like talking to you, as I said, I was like, this brother's smart. He's got an acumen that many brothers don't have at this stage. So, because I was like, you talk about investing in businesses. You talk about, you talk about building and scaling. These are all, for me, these are all buzzwords that perk me because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
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 And so I'm like, oh, there's somebody else who understands the language,
Yeah.
who is in play. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, let's keep rapping, let's keep talking.
Absolutely.
And I just want to close out 1 second before we jump into the business side. The how to lose aspect. If you had one thing to say to folks reading your book once they completed the book, what would you say for them to then go and do and
Mm.
execute on their life after completing the reading of the book?
Can I have 2 things?
Yeah, please.
So there's a tactical piece to it. In the book, there's a hidden chapter where after you complete the book, you get to add your own chapter of what
Mm,
you're going to lose, right? So I left like some blank pages
I like
for
that.
you to write in
Like,
your own quote and for you to
yeah.
write in your own thing and contribute to the book in that way. So that's really cool. But then also, my favorite chapter in the shortest chapter of the book is Lose the Pretending. And I'm going to tell
Okay.
you why.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
You
Lose.
adjusted your seat.
Yeah, I did. I was like, wait.
And
Wait.
again, and I must remind people I'm not above my own advice. That's why this book is so crazy that I wrote it I read it back for the first time a couple months ago. I mean, not a couple months ago, a few weeks ago, and I was punching myself in the stomach with my own words. You know, I was just like, man, hold
Yeah.
on, brother, wait a second. But lose the pretending is just the fact of the matter is we've decided that like fake it till you make it is the jam. That's the way to rock. And I believe there are good components to that way of thinking, just like never let them see you sweat, that kind
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah.
But I think we've taken it to another level with pretending. And I think that pretending um to be wealthy will never feel like actually being wealthy,
Right.
right? Or pretending to be in love will never feel like actually being in love. But pretending to believe in God will never feel like believing in God. And
Right.
so we have to break out of this pretending um like these handcuffs we put on ourselves. We've handcuffed ourselves to this idea that we have to fake it till we make it, and I think is doing more harm than good in this environment. Now at one point maybe that was what we needed in the 50s and the 60s. Maybe that was what we needed to get us through, right? Those were different times. But in 2026, right? Well, I released a book in 2025, but you get my point.
Yeah.
In this day and age, I think we need to show up as real as we can, because sometimes you might miss out on an opportunity by pretending that you don't need one.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times when I was younger, my life could have changed? You're talking about 30. I would have probably been something else by 25 if I wasn't pretending from 19 to 25 and pretending like I had it all figured out. When I first met you, you probably could have gave me some even more game, right? Obviously, I was
Yeah.
open. That's how we built the
Yeah.
relationship. But you probably could have opened certain doors, right? If I'd have been a little bit more transparent about that moment in time. And so my point is, I just want not just the younger generation, the older generation, all of us just need to stop pretending and get real with ourselves, because that's the only way that we can build ourselves up, right? And
Yeah.
specifically because What's Your Revolution is about Black men, like Black brothers. We need to come together and just be truthful with ourselves and realize where we are and where we're looking to go. And so that's my favorite chapter. And I feel like that's the thing. Write down the thing you're going to stop pretending. Like you're going to stop
I
pretending you healthy today and
Yeah.
go to the gym
Man,
or go to the
brother,
doctor.
bruh, that is powerful. Like that's the word that comes to my mind. That is powerful. What are you going to stop pretending? And it's so interesting because I did a post on LinkedIn last night, and I remember pretending that I was healthier than I was, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah. And this little pain or this little nagging thing, it'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I had to stop pretending that I wasn't afraid of the outcome. You know? Because that's what we're taught as Black men.
1000%.
You're strong, right?
Right.
You're the protector of the family. Your ailments are supersede everyone else's. You know what I'm saying? They take a back seat.
Yes.
You know
That's
what I'm
the
saying?
first chapter.
Yeah.
Lose the fear. That's the
Lose-
very first chapter in the book.
Lose the fear
the
that I wasn't afraid that when I go to see the neurologist or the cardiologist, they weren't going to tell me something that I didn't want to hear, that they were going to tell me something that I didn't know. I was afraid, but I was pretending like, I don't need to go. There's nothing wrong with me. This will go away.
Right.
Now, fortunately, Reggie, you said everything worked out, but the information that I received, there's also some risk.
1000%.
So I can't pretend to say that there's not risk, and I can't pretend that I can't, keep doing what I've been doing. You know, because there is risk.
Absolutely.
You know, and so I love that. And then I think that the importance of what you just said is that I feel, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm the 54-year-old man in the room. I'm the old line in the room now, or the middle-aged line in the room. I'm looking back
Mhm.
like, what are you young lions doing over there? Why are you thinking this?
And
Why
still
you
a
roar?
lion though. And still
Yeah,
a lion
yeah.
though.
I'm like, but why you
55 and still a
roar?
lion.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you roaring so loud right now? Because you really don't need to be roaring. But I feel like with the monetization of social media,
Mhm.
the loudest roars, and I'm pretending, and
Mhm.
and there's no fact checking.
No. How? How can you?
There's no, so somebody says something. There's no. I remember, um, some. I was following this guy. They kept talking about cold plunges and cold baths and all the benefits of all of that loud. And there are some benefits to them. But if you
Right.
have high blood pressure, if you have genetically prone high blood pressure,
That's what I'm saying.
right?
Yeah.
Jumping into a a cold plunge or a cold bath or cold can raise your blood pressure to levels
Mhm.
that could cause a stroke. But
Absolutely.
you're roaring loudly
Loudly.
to
Mhm.
as if to the masses that
Mhm.
this is the panacea. It's not.
Mm. Right. Right. Absolutely.
And so that's
Because
the thing. Go ahead.
yeah, no, this is a powerful, like, this is you know, we'll talk after the show, but this is really I love this. This is good for my mental and everything. And I hope that whoever's listening, that they can feel the energy
Yes.
in this moment, because this is deep. And everything that you're talking about is my entire that's my point. My point is, we because we're often misguided on this principle of pretending and faking till you make it, like, it's almost like we don't know what's real because we know we pretend. So
Yeah.
we don't know if this guy's pretending or he's really got it, because we know we got a little pretending in us as well. So it's like, it's just, it causes a world of confusion
And
and a
who's like,
world of
who are
just
you?
noise.
Yeah. Like, who are
Mhm.
you really?
Right.
And that's one of the things people will say about this show, Reggie, is that for good or for worse, I'll tell you who I am. I'll tell you what I'm going through.
I love that.
And when I was dating, Reggie, I had people I went on dates that would listen to the show and then bring out, well, you said this. Is that you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, is that the truth? You said this. Yeah. I mean, if I said, look, yeah, I'm not pretending.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
documented. It's there.
Yeah, it's documented. But they were like, oh, well, you said this. I've had people say, well, you said this, I can't mess with. Well, that fine. As
Right.
Mel Robbins says, let you and let me. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
deep. That's good.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
you
Let you
and
go
let me.
and let me be okay with
Oh
this because
yeah.
now I
I
know.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Look,
good.
our time is moving. I want to ask you, as you talk about at 30, you know, you started investing in small businesses.
Yes.
You've got the
Yes.
Prevail Group and
Yep.
Prevail Ventures, and I love that.
Yes, sir.
Prevail
Thank
Ventures
you.
is investment. One, as an entrepreneur, what are you seeing in from a mindset perspective that says this is the route I should go to create wealth? Because you said like you left your job at Apple. And
Yep.
your manager said this is the worst decision that you ever make in your life, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't even shake your hand from what you said. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and to decide that I'm gonna build the acumen, I'm gonna build the
Yeah.
structures and
Yeah.
systems
Right.
to now invest, right, to
Mhm.
consult and invest in small businesses to create wealth.
Right. I want to dive into that. And I also want to say, and it's a little bit of the other ego. I told y'all I'm working on it. It's a little bit of the other ego coming out. But that Apple and MacArthur Center is no longer here. I am though. Uh, yeah,
I
and I'm not even sure if that manager also isn't even at Apple anymore.
right,
But
right.
anyway, that's a whole nother thing, and it's all good.
Sometimes you got
May God
sometimes you gotta be like, yeah, yeah,
may God be with them.
yeah.
But the in terms of investing in small businesses, I felt like it was the only option I had. I know I wanted to build wealth for my family, and in my brain, it was two ways at that time to build wealth: investing in real estate or investing in businesses. One of the two.
Yeah.
Investing in real estate, it calls for a lot more red tape, a lot more dependency, banks, credit score, all these different things, capital to deploy. And so when I was researching both, I started to lean towards small businesses because of the barrier to entry for me was lower based on what I knew. And what
Yeah.
I knew small businesses needed because I was doing consulting and sales. And a lot of businesses fail because they don't have good marketing and they don't have good sales. They don't have the ability to sell to the people that they're marketing to,
Yeah. Got to know your
or
customer
they're great at the
and how to
product.
get it in front of them.
Absolutely, 1000%. And so at this time, uh, I knew I was great at sales, and I was living well below my means. And
Mm.
so that was a cheat code for me. That's a part of the story that people, they're not going to read, or you're not going to know that unless you talk to me. But even when I moved out of my mom's apartment and got my own apartment, my rent was like $7.95.
Whew.
And me and my lady, I told her like, look, we're not married yet, uh, we need to bust this down the middle. So I'm paying, so I'm paying $400 a month.
And
I'm driving a Volkswagen. My first year making six figures, I had the same car that almost got repoed when I first,
wow.
when I first quit Apple. I got that car because I was working at Apple, right? And so I had the W-2s. And so when I quit Apple, of course, it didn't just all go well, of course. Of course it didn't.
You had to lose.
It had to lose some stuff. I almost lost that Volkswagen, that I had. And long story short, that's funny when I say long story short. It's never long story short. I don't know why we say that. Long story short, after an hour.
That's an old black folks thing. Long story short.
Right. Absolutely. But so during that time, I had been doing a lot of, I was closing a lot of deals. I was selling pay-per-click, marketing for a guy, Ed. And he was he was pouring into me as well. And so long story short, I stacked up a certain amount of money and I said, you know what? I had a buddy of mine that was in plumbing, and he had a plumbing business, and he was just, just a scrappy, just starting out plumbing guy, and everything was grassroots. And I said, yo, I want to invest in your business and help you with the
Wow.
marketing. I want to change the branding, right? I want to help you sell, do some cold calls to help build up your business. What do you think? And he was as crazy as I am. He said, yeah, that sounds good. I said, okay, cool. Let's do it. And so
Wow. Right.
I didn't even understand at that time when I acquired or invested in that first business. It was 30 or 40% of that business. Um, I I didn't quite understand how operating agreements work. I didn't
Mhm.
understand how to make it real. So I just drew up an agreement that said, like, basically, I'm investing this amount. I'm going to do these items, and I will get this amount of ownership. The actual contract I created on like Rocket Lawyer or whatever platform I used, so I couldn't afford a lawyer or
Yeah.
anything, was actually null and void because it just wasn't a real
Contract, a real
agreement.
agreement. Right. Uh-huh.
It wasn't concrete enough, and so long story short, I learned from that. But that was like my first business. I invested in a plumbing business. And then I invested in some stuff after that. But I realized that blue collar businesses specifically, I um I really had like an attachment to those
Mm.
types of businesses.
What do you mean?
So blue collar, of course blue collar is, plumbing, detailing, junk removal,
HVAC.
whatever. It's HVAC. I realized that when I would do cold calling and I would sell, my sell pattern and my sell, like the word track that I was creating for the scripts,
Mhm.
and I'm geeking out on the sales side, but you follow me, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
yeah, so my word tracking and like just my confidence in selling in the blue collar arena was just a lot more successful. I was more successful in those
You
arenas
you found
versus
your you find your niche and you find your
I
people.
found my niche because I had a client, he was doing like some IT stuff. It was just like, felt like a little sophisticated uh, the way I talk,
Mhm.
the
Your
swag I
vernacular.
like to put on
Yeah,
my
yeah,
words,
yeah.
my vernacular.
Mhm.
Right, exactly. And so I started to focus on blue collar, and I realized that I had found my niche and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm a blue collar. I don't just invest in businesses. I invest in blue collar businesses,
Right. Okay. So
right?
you niche down. Okay.
I
Boom.
niche down.
Niche down. I like
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I discovered Google Ads and everything from working with Ed, I said, wow, so Ed is really good at marketing for blue collar businesses, specifically junk removal, anything you can think of, right? So I said, wow, a part of my value add will be to incorporate these marketing services, right? So now I'm not just going to invest in blue collar businesses, but I'm going to invest in blue collar businesses that have a bad logo, the websites suck, they don't have a lot of Google reviews, and they're not using any type of paid ads, any type of paid marketing, and they're at least doing six figures, right? If I can find, and that's a lot of
That's
small
an
businesses.
avatar.
Yeah,
Look, for those who are listening, Revolutionary, he just gave you the blueprint for how to create your customer avatar.
absolutely,
Yeah.
1000%.
Yes.
And that was from the sales. That was from I'm basically identified my ICP, but at that time, I didn't know all the investment terms. I'm just self-taught investing. I'm just inspired by Shark Tank, right? I'm just trying to get my Damon John on, and so long story short, that is what put me in position to invest. I mean, or that's why I decided to invest in small businesses. I felt like I had no choice, right? I had maybe 5,000 to invest when I first started. And I'm like, this is not enough to acquire a property. And now that I'm older, there's some things I could have did to get
Right.
into the real
Right. Yeah.
estate game.
Learning.
But I was learning, and that's the information I had. I felt like that was the only option, and so thank God, because it changed my life. So at this point, I have about 7 businesses in the portfolio
Nice. Congratulations.
that are actually functioning and that provide jobs in the area. And it's 5 blue collar, 1 software company, and then a behavioral health business as well.
Man, that is beautiful. And I think Revolutionaries, as you're listening to this, like he's giving you blueprints, like finding out what your superpower is. And oftentimes, like he saw something, like you have the ability to see something. And where is that superpower that you have that you can then scale and then turn it into scaling something even? You
Absolutely.
saw the sales and marketing piece that is Reggie Prevail,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And then said, okay, I can see this, but I also then can invest a small amount of cash and turn this company around just by sales and marketing and expertise and consulting.
Yes.
And now I've got a percentage of this company.
Absolutely.
And think about that, because I invest in early stage startups. And I've been reading Build Not Buy. No, buy not build. Buy
I have
not,
that.
yeah, buy not
Great
build.
book.
And that's the interesting thing, because I think about my operational acumen. I think of it's on. I think I see it on the right hand, on your left hand side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's right here, but I'm listening to you.
And what I bring to an organization from an operational, how to build teams, how to build leadership, how to look at operations and systems, how even now, how are we using AI to be a tool, right? Not a catch-all or cure-all, but a tool that it enhances efficiency and outcome. And then, okay, what can I see? Like you said, blue collar, like plumbing, HVAC. Where are the places that my acumen could be so good where I can then, pour some of this cash that I've been sticking aside for the last 10 years and buy a couple, because I've invested in real estate, I invest in startups, I invest in the market, but where have I really made most of my money? Real estate. I made most of my money in real estate. I made most of my money in the market. I'm still waiting for my startup investments to pan off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And why? This is what my boy said to me one time. He's like, I don't invest in startups. I was like, why? He's like, because I have no control over them. I'm investing my money and in having faith that they are actually going to do the work that I would do to grow them exponentially, to then return my money. He's like, I don't have faith. I don't have that type of faith. He's like, I'm too much of a control freak. Well, I am too. Right.
Right.
And so it does make me wonder, like, again, learning is bi-directional. You know what I'm saying?
This conversation.
Learning from the young lion, you know what I'm saying? To say, okay, at this stage of your life, what you can offer someone who doesn't have the acumen that you do, and you all can partner together.
Absolutely.
to then scale something exponentially, because that startup knowledge that I got.
Yep.
Now, yeah. So revolutionaries, if you're listening, you think about that. Go ahead, Reggie, because I don't want to lose the thought.
You touched on something. You done opened the door. You said AI.
Yeah.
You just said AI. So now I want to have this conversation. Real quick, just real brief.
Yeah.
I
Go
wanna throw
ahead.
this out there. And so I started in blue collar because, of course, that's what I had access to, et cetera. Do you know, one part that I left out is outside of investing in businesses, investing in community, and doing my consulting, I was able to lock in a consulting contract around 4 or 5 years ago that grew into a fruitful relationship with an organization named Singularity, based in Silicon Valley. They do innovation consulting for some of the brightest minds in the world and some of the biggest organizations and governments in the world. In fact, the founder, Peter Diamandis, he just did a podcast interview with Elon Musk.
I know that name.
He just did an interview with Elon Musk. It came out 2 days ago, but he's also like a futurist, longevity kind of guy. Ray Kurzweil, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in Spain. Actually, I'll send you a picture. We were in Spain together in November last year, right? For a Singularity Summit that was happening in Spain, in Madrid.
Wow, I love Madrid.
And so, Madrid is beautiful, beautiful. I went to a flamenco and did the whole experience. It was phenomenal. But my point is, in this interview with Elon Musk makes a point that validates like some of what I've been feeling about this whole AI movement and everything that's happening. He talked about white label businesses being impacted by AI more than anything else, right? And white label services, soft skills, etc. And I've been investing in blue collar businesses and doubling down on it over the last 2 or 3 years because I realized that a lot of these private equity companies, they're starting to buy HVAC companies. They're starting to buy. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed that? Now, why the hell? Now, they got all the money in the world, right? Why are they investing in blue collar? Why?
Profit.
Why would they do that?
Profit.
The profit. Also, you can go to ChatGPT right now and say, build me an app. You can go to ChatGPT and say, make me a contract, right? Software engineers, lawyers. You can say, write me pretend you are a CFO and create me a business, a financial model for X, right? Sure. Okay, now they're attacking the financial industry. You know what you can't do? Go to ChatGPT and say, fix my toilet.
Right. Exactly.
Cut my hair. Right?
Exactly.
And so we are actually in a moment in time where, walk with me, right?
I'm with you.
Our brothers and sisters are trying to fight to get into technology. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but a lot of us are already in position, right, with our blue collar skills. We are already in position because the tide is turning. And so as AI become more powerful and it start to replace more white collar jobs, what do you think they're going to send their kids to? Like, you think they're just going to say, oh, well, technology's out. Oh, being a lawyer is dwindling down. We should just lay over and die. No. People are going to start becoming plumbers, electricians.
Exactly.
They're going to get into construction. They're going to get into, I believe, barbering. Everything that we know it's going to turn and flip its way around. And so when we think about education even, and we think about like kids going to school right now, if you're going to school right now to be a software engineer, I'm not saying you should you should drop out.
It's going to be
you should definitely just do some research.
Real competitive.
Absolutely. Real competitive. And you won't be, we used to think that, I remember hearing my teacher say, you're going to be competing with kids in China. You're going to be competing with kids overseas, and it's going to be a very competitive market. No, ma'am, I'm competing with a computer.
Yeah. I'm competing with ChatGPT.
I'm competing with ChatGPT.
I'm competing with
it gets so much deeper than that when you think about robotics, you think about neuroscience, you think about biotechnology, you think about all this, and this is a whole separate podcast worth of
Yeah.
conversation we need to have
But
about
you're
just
right. You're
technology.
so right. Yeah, you're so right, Reggie, when it comes to thinking about that. And that is a contrarian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you think about this because everybody you said, my electrician, my HVAC guy, my plumber.
Mm-hmm.
Look, my lady's a hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
She stay booked.
Yeah.
AI is not gonna cut your hair.
She ain't slowing down yet.
She not. Look, she complaining. She complaining. I got too much work.
Yeah,
you know.
My mom does hair. It's a perfect time for me to pub my mom. I love my mom so much. She's been a hairstylist for 30 years. So
Yeah.
shout out to Sheila Land.
There you go. Hair. And you're exactly right. And as we think about that now, you know, these blue collar jobs can use AI to enhance their efficiencies, but the crux of the job won't be done by AI.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm waiting. Look, I'm waiting on my HVAC guy to come in and rewire my thermostat. AI is not.
Absolutely.
I might be able to
wait. And Doc, you have to wait because guess what? If your finance guy is taking a little while to get you back something, you can figure that out with ChatGPT and these other agents. You can. I'm not going to say it's no way because there's some handy brothers out here, and so obviously you can use AI to empower you to figure something out quicker than you could before. But in terms of having it done as a service, we need to embrace our skills and embrace the rooms we've been cut out of. Because the rooms that they cut us out of, it's all good. Because if you have a hard skill right now, you're winning. And they don't want you to know. But I'm telling you, you're winning.
Right. Look, Reggie, you are so right. You are so right. And I see it so often. And what folks are doing. And I was having lunch with one of my good friends, and he was talking. He's my age as well. And he said, I want to spend the last couple of years in this stage. I want to acquire companies. You know, I want to sit on boards, you know, and I want to teach. And he said, the companies that I want to acquire are blue collar companies. You know?
Smart man.
And smart man. Reggie, I got a couple of questions and we're going to close out, man.
Okay.
For anyone who's listened today, who's accomplished, respected, but still quietly dissatisfied, what might they need to lose in order to truly prevail?
That's deep. I'll go back to, something we touched on earlier in the podcast. Lose the pretending. Lose the pretending to prevail.
Yeah.
Take the tend off the back. Take pretend and take the tend off the back and put veil there. No, but honestly, find what lose the pretending and also lose the fear. Figure out why do you feel moved, or why are you nervous or scared to make a move that you know you need to make? Why are you scared to do that? You just mentioned the doctor. Same with me. Like I've been talking to my family about this, and so definitely need to go to the doctor and schedule an appointment to go to the doctor because I'm grinding. I'm like, man, I'm 30, I'll be all right. I'm like, my side hurt. Oh, that. No, go to the doctor, right? And why? And so we're being transparent. Why am I scared to go to the doctor? Similar to what you said. I don't want to hear anything that's not good. I don't want to hear anything that's not good.
I ain't trying to slow down.
Right, absolutely. But by losing that fear of doing that, and by not pretending that I'm healthy and just going and figuring it out, it's a win regardless, right? I can't lose in a situation because one, they tell me, hey, you're actually in perfect health. Yay me, let's celebrate. Or two, hey, we caught something early that if you would have waited 5 years, it would have been detrimental. Yay, we also celebrate. So stop pretending, lose the fear, and I think that'll be fine.
Yeah, brother.
And I'm taking my own advice, by the way. I want y'all to know. I'm taking my own advice. And also, I've had to learn how to lose this stuff, and it's still a battle.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to learn to lose people.
Mm. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the that's one of the hardest things that I had to learn,
Mm.
that people who I thought were going to be with me
Mm. Mm.
for the
Mm.
for the foreseeable future are gone. And you know, I had to mourn the loss and then be okay with the fact that we're not going to be the same. And sometimes I don't know why,
Mm.
but if you have sparked something so great. And I think the reading of your book, when people really read your book and say, okay, I want to win every day. Winning feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It feels really good.
Yes.
And losing feels bad. But if you know this, Reggie, the feeling of the win will go away. The feeling of the loss will go away.
Mm.
Right? It's what you do with each of them,
Yes.
right, that will exponentially help you grow. And so
Mm.
understanding that people will come and go in your life,
Mm.
and that
Mm.
celebrate the time that you have with them,
Mm.
internalize why they may have left or why not, and it's not your responsibility to try, if they don't want to tell you, to try to figure it out,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and then be okay with moving on with your life.
Absolutely.
And I
Yes.
think that if you can, I think one of the biggest things that we have to be okay with is the loss of humanity in our lives.
Mm. That's so deep.
That's 54 years of experience right there saying that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it
And
is
look, and I'm taking my 30-year ears and I'm listening to every single word
well, I
and
look,
the intentionality behind them. That's
yeah.
powerful, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you
I
for
mean,
sharing that with me.
brother, I woke up one day and a childhood friend of mine, we just weren't there anymore. And I wondered, I was like, why? And I reached out a couple times, never really got an explanation. And I was like, okay, we're just not going to be there like that anymore.
Absolutely.
And I got to be okay with that. And the loss of that was tough.
It's the feeling for me. The toughest thing in life for me is, especially with being the way that we are, being curious, being leaders, being protectors and providers, is knowing that my best isn't good enough sometimes. That's the
Mm,
toughest thing.
yeah.
And so with people, when you feel like you giving everything, right, to a situation or to a person or whatever the case is, and it's still not good enough. And I wrote about that kind of in my book. I was talking about my first time experiencing loss through football and
Yeah.
how I tried my best. I imagined myself winning. I laid out my uniform before the game, right? I internalized it. I tried my best, and we still lost, right? And sometimes in life with people, when that happens, it's just
Yeah.
it feels like the world is caving in
It
sometimes,
did.
but
You're
it's
right.
not.
It's
I
it's
want
it's
to
it's
say
not.
though,
Yeah.
it's not.
It's not.
It's not caving in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually it's
No.
okay.
No. Because what happens, sometimes you have to lose folks to open space for other people to come in.
I'm about to
Man.
now I'm about to log out. Now I'm about how I log out of this thing? How I get out of this thing? Now
But
you
that's it.
talking about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
Yeah.
all jokes aside, real, we make light
And
of stuff, but
yeah,
that's real.
and so many folks have come in that have given life,
Mm.
to me. I'm grateful, but you have to lose, and I think that's the power. You have written, right? Just the title itself is one of the most powerful titles of a book that I've ever seen.
Thank you.
I mean, literally, how to lose. It's a punch in the gut. What do you mean, how to lose? What the
And
hell are you talking about, Reggie?
why I have the black fortune cookie on the front of the book,
No.
right? And it says you, and then it says WO, and on the back, when it cracks through, when you crack through the cookie, it says you won already,
Yeah.
right? And so in the front it says you won, and on the back it says you won already. The reason behind that, I have actual fortune cookies too.
I love
I make sure I get
I
you one.
love it.
It's
Yeah.
like I had to, right? You have to, I have a little creative side to me. But honestly, I think it meant two things. But the most important is just that sometimes when we're going through a dark time, right? We don't know why we're going through it. And it's not until we break through it that we find the true message, right? And so I think regardless, when you break through it, no matter what the outcome is, it's still a win, right?
Yeah.
And so, but when you look at the fortune cookie, it's like perfect, right? Who would want to break that? All right, it just
You
it's perfect, but you have to,
Yeah.
you have to break it.
Right. Yes.
You
Yes.
have to lose that perfect little fortune cookie. It's going to disappear, but what comes out of it is the meaning of the situation and why. No one wants to break things, but sometimes you have to.
I love it.
I feel so fulfilled. I don't know what I was expecting coming on this podcast. I'm like, is this a therapy session? That's what this is. This is a therapy podcast. Hey, fellas, whoever's the next genius or the next amazing person that's going to be on this podcast, I want you to be prepared. This has been a transformational
I'm glad.
conversation for
I'm
me,
glad.
and it's
I'm
not
glad.
like we're talking about things I'm unfamiliar to. Like we're talking about my book and we're talking about my story, but just the way you position it and the way that you drive the conversation, man, is really chef's kiss, man. It's beautiful. Thank you
Thank you, brother. I
for
truly
what you do.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So I gotta ask you this last question, man.
Okay.
Author, consultant, investor, leader, thought provoker, Reggie
Mm.
Prevail.
Yes,
What's your
sir.
revolution?
My revolution is knowing that no matter what happens, uh, I believe that God has his hand in every situation
Yeah.
and that no matter what, I will win regardless, even when I lose.
Yeah.
And so that's why I want people to know how to lose, because even when you lose, if you believe and you know how to use that loss and learn from that loss, you still win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my revolution.
Man, and it is a beautiful one, and I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
pouring into me and pouring into my revolutionaries. I started this show 9 years ago, selfishly, Reggie, because I wanted to have conversations that filled my cup, that helped me learn. And this is one of those that I will I will listen to and dissect time and time again, because it has been a punch in the gut. Like, okay, this is a revolution. This is revolutionary, in this. And so we will do everything to pub this book and to get you highlighted, to do everything we can, because everybody needs to read this. Everybody needs to know how to lose to win.
Thank you.
So yeah.
And can I throw one more thing on
Yeah,
that?
yeah, please.
Every book that is purchased, all proceeds go to my nonprofit, Prevail Foundation, which is a platform I'm using to invest in the community. So we've talked about investing in ourselves, we talked about investing in businesses, but I ultimately believe that this book talks about reframing your mindset around loss. And also, I believe that winning is not just winning alone, it's winning together. And so
Yeah.
I won't be
Yeah.
where I am without investing. So I fund some scholarships locally for the Lot Scholars, and I'm doing some stuff with Operation Smiles to get uh, minorities into international experiences, like
Yeah.
experience that changed my life. And then I also have a few other things I do locally, and it's been self-funded to this point. But just know that when you buy a copy of the book, you are investing in the 757 and the youth of the minorities in this area. And so,
Yeah.
thank you for the opportunity to talk
That's a
about the book.
beautiful that is we have to give back, lifting as we climb, as we say.
Lifting as we climb. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Revolutionaries, look, I'm fortunate to be able to do what I do and to interview amazing people like Reggie Prevail, who's has built something so early in his life and is asking a question, right? How to lose, telling you, giving you the blueprint, the roadmap, the masterclass on how you actually can win in your life if you can figure out how to lose.
Mm.
That's a revolution. As you're looking forward to what 2026 is going to be and what your goals are, what's the revolution that's going to help you get to your goal? And sometimes that revolution is to shift that mindset that the losses that you've had actually taught you something. They actually gave you a foundation for reaching the goal that you have in front of you. So I'm wishing you well. Always, please, if you're looking for resources, go to what'syourrevolution.com. Contact me if you want to get one-on-one coaching to figure out how to fulfill your goals and fulfill your revolution. And know that no matter what, I love you. I love you. I love you. And we'll talk to you soon.